not only for the Seventh-day Adventist Church members, but for all people of faith. But you see, if we look at it very critically, as the Seventh-day Adventist Church, we do know that we are the foremost targeted as far as religious persecution is concerned. We experienced that in the past, and prophetically, we know as we head towards the end, we are the one who are going to suffer that injustice the more. So they say, if you live in a glass house, don't throw stones. Our house is all glass, everywhere. And so by defending religious freedom for everyone, we are also making a statement that, hey, we respect your faith, but respect our faith also. So it is important that we defend other people's religious freedom, because by so doing, we are also defending ourselves. So this association exists to defend religious liberty for all people of faith. And so membership to this association is not restricted to Seventh-day Adventist Church members. As a matter of fact, currently even the president of the association is not an Adventist, but the Secretary General, who is the technocrat, is usually an Adventist. Membership comes from all people of faith. That does not mean there's a compromise. So when a convention such as Religious Liberty Convention is being organized, it is done under the association, not as the church. Because if we say the Seventh-day Adventist Church is organizing a religious liberty freedom, and they are seeing only our pastors, only our people, it's going to be difficult to have people from other faiths coming in. So we expand on the membership, and there's no compromise there at all. We still remain Adventist. That is an association. At the General Conference, yes, the office is at the General Conference, but membership is drawn from all over, and they can always come to our office there. So whenever the events are organized, it's a public event where people of all faith can participate. But usually, we do it in such a way that we end with a Sabbath worship, a religious liberty festival, and that is where the church takes over, and we preach to these people that we've been presenting to. So we are keeping our faith, but we are promoting freedom. We are not compromising on our faith. Those are some of the things we are doing.
Thank you so much. This time, I want to thank especially our biggest audience that has been following us on Facebook and the other social media channels. Thank you so much. I know that you've been able to leave a comment below, and you've been able as well to leave a question. Please remember to leave some questions here so that the panelists here will answer them. For the live audience, I want to thank you so much. I'm glad that if this was new to you, you could as well add yourself a little bit of personal induction. You could go to Google and just search out for Public Affairs and Religious Liberty, or even go direct to the General Conference, SDA General Conference website, and you'll be able to see this as a department. At this time, please allow me to ask you please to put your hands together and thank yourself first. Yes, please. Thank you so much. And hands for Elder Ogwal. And coming up on our panel is, I'm going to invite two people. And the first is Council Amon, who just graduated from Uganda LDC's Law Development Center. Just, I think, a month ago. And Sister Juliet, a number of you that went through Makerere University must do agree with me that Sister Juliet is one of those students who took so many years to graduate or was always studying. Council Amon, like I said, by God's grace, just graduated. He is now a full-time lawyer. And Sister Juliet, who is a software engineer. They're going to share their experiences in brief of how they soldiered through the challenges. I know that a number of us compromised, but it's okay. Please do not judge yourself. You did your best. These soldiers fought on, and of course, as you always know, that is always a few people who fought on. We thank God that gave you the strength to fight until you gave up. And as the war continues, may he still, give you more efforts to fight more battles. These are our champions at public universities, but we're not at any time compromisable to do exams on Sabbath. Please clap for them. Yes. So please, when you're sharing your stories, be able to tell us the challenges and how did you honestly, with God's grace, go through them. Because for some people, they just tell you, I don't do exams on Sabbath. And some people said, some were just too lazy, that they were looking for a way to run out, And a number of you that are still at school, you want to know how best can I negotiate it. Some examples of how they were able to negotiate with the school, heads of departments, please get them out, okay? So where do we start from? Ladies first? Of course, ladies are going to say ladies first. Definitely, yes. Sister Juliet, I'm so happy and so honored to share a platform with you and such a beautiful story that you're going to share with us.
Okay. Good afternoon, friends. Wamalwa Juliet. It was my dream to join Makerere University, and it was always my prayer God to help me to join. And I thank God because I was able to join the campus of my dream, but it had its own challenges. I was given computer science, the course I liked so much, but it is one of the courses whereby in the course of the week you study, but Saturday, Sunday, it is exam time or tests. Though nowadays I see final exams comes on weekdays, but the tests on Saturday and Sunday. I had just come from a secular, or rather I went through secular schools, and to me, Christianity wasn't all that serious. But when I was in my senior sixth, I told myself I have to stand for the Lord. When I could hear the missionary reports, I asked myself, what have I done for my Lord? What have I sacrificed? And that motivated me so much. And so when I joined campus, I was like, I want to be exemplary, but I don't know how to do it. And lo and behold, that was my first challenge. I remember we were over 30 students who were doing computer science and information technology. But this time when the test was put on Saturday, we remained D2. And we found ourselves at church and we looked at ourselves, our friends were nowhere to be seen. And we just wondered, where have you been? They told us, for us, we are finishing the course to go away. I'm a foreigner, and most of them could be like, for us, we are going home. If you want to stay, you stay. Friends, it's hard. And so what happened is, the next time we went and talked to the head of department, who said, okay, we are going to be giving you an option whereby you will be doing the paper after sunset. He wasn't an Adventist. He was a Pentecostal, moreover a reverend. And so this time what happened is, he went out. But the assistant came in and said, okay, I'm going to help you. And he kept the promise. But the unfortunate part is, whenever we did our papers, those Sabbath papers were always missing. And it really discouraged most of us. And they opted again, let us do the papers. So we found again, few of us. It is my final year. I have many papers which are missing. And I tried following up, followed up for my friends. They got theirs. And
sorry. It will be strong because I remember the days. A number of you that went to Musda remember Sister Juliet. I know that the rebuking was even sometimes from us within. Some people thought maybe Juliet had a problem. Do you remember those things? She was an extremist. And, so have you ever been in a situation where your own are fighting you? Juliet, thank you so much. You've been strong. And
So what happened is
yeah.
I finally finished and all the papers were done.
How long did it take you to finish school?
I went double years,
Double years. How many years? 8 years?
6 years,
6 years. A course was supposed to be 3 years.
3 years.
So you didn't have a job then within, your friends graduated, life was better for them?
At that time, actually, my name was on the graduation list. I was so excited. I thanked God, but the joy didn't last for long. I went again when the final graduation list came out. My name wasn't around. I tried following up. The story wasn't good. This man could chase me out of his office practically, and they knew I was an Adventist. And some could say, Adventist Oyaita, she's having a master's, and you know it is not really master's, but you know someone provoking you. I went to the vice chancellor's home because these police could see me every day, and so they were like, we can sneak you in. So I went to his home. He really sympathized with me, made an appointment. I went there. This secretary was like, how could you make an appointment with the vice chancellor, yet you are not even registered in my book? I was like, but I went to his home. And she was saying, get out. He finally came out, and he was like, come. Then he called the registrar and said, I want you to follow up on her case. When I reached the registrar's office, he was like, okay, just write everything. I'm going to work on it. Of course, they will tell you, go to the registrar in charge of students. I went, I moved for 3 solid years, but little did I know. I was like, God, kindly reveal to me what is happening. The next time is when the office was locked, and I am with the man, and he said, Julie, academics aside, do you have a boyfriend? I was like, friends, it was something which was so hard.
Sorry, Julie.
And what came in from my mouth, I just asked him, I thought it is academics and nothing related to that. Do you mind helping me? I go out kindly. I have to go. And that was the end. The next time.
Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are following, we have Julie, who has been a student at university, and she decided never to sit for exams on a Sabbath. A number of you that are SDS, you know what it means. It's been hard. She's sharing with us her story, and just like as you can see, it's been really, really very, very, very hard for her. So Julie, can you lady up? Okay.
I was expelled
Very good.
at campus. It was one of the hardest moments. I was just at home at the same time. Everyone used not to understand me. I lost friends. And that is when now I thought, what next? It is one of the course units we did at campus, and I ventured in software. After being just at home, I was to cater for everything. There was a time when I could spend my nights in the labs because you don't have where to go. You haven't paid rent. And so you pretend you're going to read, but in reality, you are finding shelter. You have to keep a smile, and that is your life.
You slept in the labs?
Yes. The College of Computing, the labs works 24/7. And so it reaches midnight and they tell you, those who want to go out, you can go out. Those who want to stay, you stay. And so it really helped. And I realized I wasn't the only one. You could find students, they even come with cardboards and they put down, they sleep, and you're like, okay, we are many in this boat.
You're trying to crack code.
So what happened is, that is when I began looking for jobs. God was so merciful. I got a job in an international company fighting corruption, whereby I could be able to cater for my tuition. I could be able to, by then I even had adopted 3 kids. I have to meet their needs. I have to help my brother. He's at campus. As much as our meeting is just at campus, for 4 years, it took me before meeting my parents and accepting me. I stayed in a foreign country without anyone.
Conclusion.
Okay, thanks so much, Julie, for sharing with us that. I found her story very touching, and that is why we've been doing these presentations together. The long and the short of it is that Juliet was never able to graduate, and she could not compromise. But God led her to start doing something else, which she's now doing so successfully. But that course, which she thought was very prestigious, she could not compromise. Like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego couldn't compromise, she couldn't compromise. Maybe there's someone there who is in a similar situation. It doesn't pay to compromise. There are people who have let it go, and they've kept the faith. But I think for now, we are going to hear also the stories of Amon.
Councillor Amon, recently you graduated as an advocate of the High Court from LDC. We all know that Law Development Center is a secular institution where faith and obligation sometimes clash. How have you upheld your faith as an Adventist?
Thank you so much. I want, first of all, to greet you all in the name of Jesus Christ. And I'm privileged to be here this evening with you who are watching in this room. I want to tell you that it is always not an easy way. And if I can maybe briefly bring you somehow backwards, I know I started the legal journey with some of my colleagues. One of them is seated in this audience this evening, and I'm glad to see you, Pastor Duke Olina. We're in the same class. And that was an Islamic institution. It was tough there. It was tough. And I know we used to have that brief talk. So what do we do? And one of them is also my friend, George Kamlemele. I remember one time I asked him, should I take this matter in the parliamentary council? Because I was a member of parliament. So he asked me one question. How many Adventists are you in the parliament? 1. So, do you expect to win in that parliament? So I think that's not a good idea. I think we need to find the other way. Praying is our first priority. Then second is maybe to have the diplomatic dialogue. The diplomatic dialogue. And I remember that one. Pastor Yuki myself was a participant. We engaged the administrators. But at LDC, it was a different story. It was a different story. These guys, it's like they're from Mars. They don't know. They don't want to know about God. What are you talking about? These are serious matters. For you are talking about things that don't matter. To them, like things of faith, you're saying, I have to go for worship. That doesn't matter here. Then most of them, of course, they start telling me, I think you're in the wrong place. Of course, that's disappointing and heartbreaking. Someone is telling you, I think you're in the wrong place. So our head bar, she was a lady and born again, so I thought she could be of a different opinion. So I had to approach her and I told her, I have a challenge. I'm a Seventh-day Adventist. And I'm not alone. I have some of my friends. We seek your indulgence in this because we are not able to be here on Sabbath. And we shall not come. She just looked at me and told me, just make sure you go out of here. I don't know how, but I can't help you. And so I was a bit disappointed, but I went and told my friend, what do we do? Joy told me, you know what? I think we need to engage the management committee. How do we engage it? We started now devising means how we engage the management committee. But me, we said, maybe let's start with director. So we approached the director, and the director said, how many are you? We were 14. He said, okay, 14. I don't know how you do it, but I don't have a solution for you.
But Council, I'm wondering, and a number of people have been able to compromise, and school at LDC is what, 2 years, 1 year? 1 year, right?
Yes.
1 year, couldn't you just do the exams for 1 year, temporarily deal with the temporal problem and do away with it and continue?
Unfortunately, compromise was not one of my next option because of the love of God. I have a life story. How I became an Adventist is another story for another day. I wish that we get that time that we share it. But I saw the hand of God, the love of God in my life, and that strengthened me so much. I remember one time I was so stuck at LDC, and I chose to open the Bible. I will seek someone to read it for me, Bible. And after prayer, I went to Isaiah 43:10 to 12. I opened the Bible randomly and I landed on that verse after the prayer. Solomon, please kindly read for 43 verse 10. I think I'm there. Let me read it.
Okay.
The Bible said, you are my witnesses, says the Lord, and my servant whom I have chosen, that we may know and believe me and understand that I am he. Before me there was no God formed, neither shall there be after me. Even I am the Lord, and beside me there is no Savior. Now, I'm in the middle of asking God, can't we do this just for 1 year? And you open your Bible and you land on such words. What do you do next? That was tough. That was tough. And I said, now, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. So we said, let's put it in writing. So we wrote for our colleagues, 14 of others to sign. Because the director said, okay, sign and send me the letter. I will go in the committee and we'll see what to do for you. I looked for 14, only 4 signed. 10 declined. They said, nobody is calling for trouble here.
They were Adventists, right?
They were Adventists.
Okay.
And what was so heartbreaking, I remember one of them was my friend, and they had told me he spent 7 years at bachelor's level because he was refusing to compromise. But he said, now I have gotten this chance of entering LDC. This time around, no. So he declined to sign. 4 of us signed, and now we are stuck. I was forced to amend now the document and remove these other names. 4 again signed. We signed the 4 again. Of course, we had to tell them the reason. They wanted to know the reason why we are not going to sit the exam on Sabbath. And we say the reason is simple. We are Seventh-day Adventists and we believe in the Bible entirely. Commandments of God command us not to break the Sabbath, which is the 7th day of the week. And on that basis, of course, with verses, it's on that basis that we are not going to sit these exams. We seek to see them as special papers. Okay. Of course, everyone else looked at us as people who are crazy. My class members, one of them who was my cousin, of course, she told even family members, I don't know what's wrong with that guy, but I think he lost his mind. I wonder what he's doing in the course. And of course, on my graduation, they had to what? To confess. Us as family members, we were still wondering, what's wrong with you? But today, we don't know. You will tell us what was really right with you. Yes. That day, they were willing to hear what was right with me. And I told them, you see, yes, there is what we face every day, those daily challenges. But on top of all these daily challenges and the administration and the authorities, on top of everything, there is God. And that was the right thing with me. What the thing that was wrong with majority.
And that's why I wanted to ask you that in the audience, the rest of you who are viewing and following us on the SDA Mount Olives Facebook page, I want to ask you, Council Amon, today you work at the High Court. I want you to tell us how you feel and give a word of advice for a young man, young lady who is watching you with a dream of being a lawyer or joining the legal fraternity, but they know that that's between them and God, it's going to be very hard. They have to keep the Sabbath and exams are on that day. Please, a word of advice.
Yeah, thank you. Maybe point of correction. I don't work at High Court. I work with a law firm.
Okay.
I work with Tumwebaza Tugonza Kobusinje Advocates. Of recent, I think it was still during my career, it was also another challenge, the hardest challenge of my life. Those who know this famous case of, I think I will have to say it, for the sake of my brothers and sisters, of Sebufu. In that case, we are the lawyers in that case, and I'm that principal witness who was with the deceased before she was murdered. I know it is heartbreaking sometimes to me because she was a friend. She died when I was saying, I can't say, because I knew she was going to die. I had to jump out of a running car where she was, and the next hour she was murdered. That was a very tough moment for me. I was still an undergraduate. I went through a lot of trauma. Actually, some of my aunts thought I would not finish the course successfully because it was traumatizing. On top of being hunted to be killed, of course. And shortly after, of course, I survived another today's. Actually, they left knowing that they have killed me. I remember some of you who saw that picture where they were saying the key witness was Crowbert. It was all over in the papers. That was me. But many people, when they see me, they don't recognize. They think, the one we saw in the newspapers was badly beaten. There was no eye, for you have two eyes. The truth of the matter, the murderers knew that they had killed me by the time they left. But I was alive. And we have pushed the case to its logical conclusions. Of course, when the attempts of killing failed, now they went to two attempts of buying me off, buying the law firm off. And I remember they sent one lawyer who came at the office one time. He came with a bag and he was like, in that bag, there is 500 million in the bag. And the two cars, they are packed down. These are the keys, these are transfer forms. Just get off. And that was so tough, of course, for my other colleague. And I remember she said, what do you have to say? I told her, well, the truth of the matter, I'm very poor. I don't have even a bicycle. So I think I would love to go back home driving. I would love to have this money also on the account. But I think we have a challenge in this matter. and she says, I'm still listening to you. She's my boss and my aunt and my best friend. I told her, I've got one thing, and that is my integrity and my God. My faith in my integrity, that's all I have. Unfortunately, on the two, there is no price tag. There is no price tag on the two. There's nothing you can pay me off the faith in God or pay me off my integrity. So I think this can't work. What do you say? Then I also posed the same question. What do you say? She said, I'm proud of you. I was waiting for that. And I'm glad that I'm training you to a better man. So he told these people, never come back to our office. Our meeting place will be always in the courtroom. Right? We'll be always in the courtroom. And we pushed that up to the logical conclusion. And we saw the hand of God in everything. In everything. So I've come to believe that I don't have right words that I can use to explain the goodness of God. I know people usually say, for us, our God does not work. I don't know whether those are true Adventists. But me, as an Adventist, I know I have not seen another working God like the God of Adventists.
Thank you so much, Council Amon. And for the rest of you that are watching, please, I know that you left some of your question downwards, and the team is working hard to relay some of the replies to you. Sister Juliet, thank you so much. The audience here, thank you. I would like us to go into a short, if we are allowed, when the conversion started, I asked for time, but I was sent a note here that we were supposed to end at 4 o'clock. It's 5 minutes after 4, but if you do allow us for 5 minutes, we'll welcome some questions from the audience. Please. Thank you so much. I could see that the program controllers have allowed. Can we have some questions? And someone to move the mic, please. If you're asking a question, if you don't mind, if you're not an elder, please, you will move here and take the mic. But if you're an elder, do we have cordless mics? Okay, there's a question here. Just go first to the question. Okay, thank you so much. So if you have a question, please just move forward here. If you're not an elder. If you're an elder, please, you can speak without a mic. Yes, we will not move you here. If you're a pastor, we'll not move you here. Please, let's welcome some questions. I know someone who says that I don't want to ask from here, but I'll ask elder in the corridor. When we ask questions, you're helping someone who is like you, who is saying that I'm shy to stand in front and ask a question. You're also saying that someone said something that I'm going through. So it could be a question or a compliment or something that you want to thank this conversation for. Thank you. There's a gentleman there. Oh, I think you also. Okay, so there are no questions? Oh God, we want to thank you. Oh, there's an elder there. Thank you. Elder, can you say?
Now, for me, it is that last bit that we've had. Because 500 million is good money, not so?
It's a lot of
and
money.
Of course, the 2 cars.
So much money.
By God's grace, that's the only way he can overcome. Short of that, you can't. So we thank God because of that courage. Otherwise, we can all be tempted. In God, we actually takes us back to Philippians chapter 4, verse 13, that I can do all things, even denying myself that chance of solving my problems. And that's where selfishness lies. It takes us to that downward trend. So we thank God for that. God bless.
Thank you so much, Elder. Please, it could be a compliment, it could be something, it could be a question. Are we scared?